Welcome to my home studio in the beautiful Cascade Mountains in upstate New York. I am John Morrell, which I hope you know if you're watching this. Should I turn the light on? Does this make it better? Or does it just make me super bright? Why does it make my head so bright? Why? Well, anyway, my man Chip has been asking me for a while to review the Le Absolus de Orient line by Guerlain. So it's tough to do because there's a bunch of fragrances, right? But I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to try to keep the video as manageably short as I can. So, all right, Chip, check it out.
John Morrell, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. John Morrell, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. Fresh and dope like heroin soap. That lamp's got swag.
Now, to be fair, I'm going to tell you that I am, according to the website, missing 2 fragrances. This is a 6 fragrance line, Le Absolus de Orient. It's a 6 fragrance line. Not true. It's a 7 fragrance line. So patchouli ardent is part of that line, but has been discontinued. Apparently, it's not on the website. Hard to find. I do have that one, however. So although it is now considered a 6 fragrance line, I have 5 of the 6. But not really, because I'm missing Musk Noble and I'm missing a newer release, which is Cure Intense. Those 2 I'm missing. But I have Patchouli Ardent, which they don't even list being in the line at this point. So maybe it offsets a little bit. So let's get it moving. First fragrance I'm going to do a quick review on is Oud Essential. First off, all the bottles look similar to this. They are just stunning, stunning bottles. I just love them, right? So this is what the bottle looks like. All of them look very similar, different colors. And I should also tell you, so I don't have to say for every single one, I guess, is that every single one of these fragrances, beast mode performance. We're talking you will smell this on yourself the next morning. So make sure you like it if you're going to put it on, because when you wake up in the morning, it's going to be there. All right, so Oud Essential is top notes, saffron, pelargonium, I don't even know what that is, but heart notes are agarwood, rose, cedarwood, base notes, leather, incense, and gaiac wood. And let me tell you, this is, if you are, to me, this is an entry-level oud fragrance, okay? I say that because if you don't like oud, you probably still like this. This has the common thread, I said this before in a different video, right? The common thread in the Le Absolus de Orient line is there's that thread that goes through it, that Guerlain French perfume thread that you can always go, okay, this is a Guerlain fragrance, right? But this has a little bit of that oud feel, but it's not too much. It's not that stinky oud. It's a very pretty oud, if there is such a thing. But this is a beautiful fragrance. This one's pretty straightforward. It really is. It's a French perfume sort of oud or parfum, however you want to say. I always say the French have this, real French fragrances have that perfume. And when I say real French, I mean Guerlain, right? I mean, it doesn't get more French than that. And there's something I love about them. They have that authentic, and by the way, Zaharoff kind of embraced that too to me. Zaharoff smells has that kind of French take to me on fragrances in his line. I haven't got my Z creators yet. It's coming Thursday, I think. But in his line, he has that kind of French perfumery feel, and so that's what this has. But it's to die for an oud fragrance. If you wanted to get into oud, but you just didn't like most of the oud fragrances you've tested, I would say this could be it. Now, all these retail at $200. I bought them all at retail, so I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are at discounters, if you can get them at discounters. I bought all these, which is weird. I tell people never to do that, but they're $200 for a 125 milliliter, and these, let me be very clear, this is not a designer fragrance. I know some people think Guerlain's a designer house. I don't feel that way. Guerlain, to me, and they do put out some designer fragrances, but to me, Guerlain is a niche house, and this is absolutely a niche line. So again, something I don't have to repeat throughout the rest of it, right? So oud essential, great fragrance, great entry level oud as well. Okay, so there you go. All right, so this next one is Bois Mysteria. Okay, Bois Mysteria. Again, beautiful bottle. This one is different. Again, it has that common thread, but man, this one's interesting. This is one of my favorites from the line. I love them all. This is one of my favorites from the line. Again, beast mode, of course. We're talking forever, for eternal. Once you get it on. But this is top notes, laurels, neroli, middle notes, atlas, cedar, patchouli, jasmine, base notes, leather, and myrrh. And this to me smells like some kind of, it's really smells like something from the Orient to me, like maybe even from the Middle East, like a Middle Eastern. Oh man, it is just, it smells like a bazaar, like this authentic Middle Eastern bazaar. That's what it smells like to me. Again, fairly straightforward, this fragrance. Now let me show you. The one thing I haven't shown on the first one is the atomizer. And let me show you the atomizer. Very nice. Atomizer is very nice on all of these. And again, lasts forever. And this is not as straightforward. This does start off a tiny bit bright. You always have that. I feel like you always have the patchouli, a tiny bit of the patchouli and the cedar, but the neroli, when you spray it, comes just a little brighter. And as it does take you on a slight journey, so as it dries down, you do get the more of the wood, but more of the patchouli. But the leather and the myrrh in this, that's what it dries down to, but it kind of always has a little bit of that neroli in the top, just a tiny bit, but it does get darker as it goes on. It's just, this fragrance is, my wife loves it, and to me, this is a very exotic smelling fragrance. And again, just forever lasting, which is amazing. All right, so that is Bois Mysteria. From my favorite to what I consider to be the most challenging of these fragrances. Now, when I say that, I wouldn't go as far as to say my least favorite. I haven't quite got a grasp on this one yet. I've worn it a few times. Obviously, I've had these fragrances for a long time, but Incense Mythique, if that's how you say it, Incense Mythique. So it's a rose fragrance. So that's something that's interesting because I'm not huge into rose fragrances, really. However, this has top notes rose, saffron. Middle notes, vetiver, pink pepper, patchouli, base notes, ambergris, frankincense, and woodsy notes. And it's still delightful. Again, the rose throws me off a little bit because it's not my preference, but this is still just amazing. These fragrances, Guerlain really hit it out of the park with this line, right? It's Absolus d'Orient. They hit it out of the park. Every fragrance is really, really strong and a good entry level. They know when to pull back. So this is, to me, for someone who maybe like me doesn't love rose, this is a great entry level rose fragrance because the rose, again, I'm trying to get my head around it, but the rose doesn't come on too strongly. And so I think it's a great fragrance for someone who, hey, I want to try rose, but I don't want it in my face. And this is something because the way it dries down with that vetiver, the patchouli, again, the woodsy notes, and then the ambergris, it's very cool. It's a great fragrance. So again, Incense Mythique. Now the next one to me is probably my favorite. I adore this one mostly because I think you can wear it all year round. I really do. I've heard people say that they didn't think you should wear it in the summer. I understand because it could be maybe a little dense, right? But it's Santel Royale. I don't know why I keep doing this. I keep turning it the wrong way. Santel Royale. And this is to me is a royal fragrance. I can imagine someone in royalty wearing this. Top notes, neroli, jasmine, heart notes, peach, rose, cinnamon, base notes, sandalwood, leather, amber notes, oud, and some musk. And this fragrance is in my Hall of Fame. It's in my Hall of Fame. It's a beautiful fragrance. So that's the thing. If some men, they don't like beautiful fragrances. This is a beautiful fragrance. I mean, when you wear this, you smell. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is feminine, although this is absolutely unisex, which I think everything is. But this is unisex for sure. I think all these fragrances are fairly unisex. It's their bestseller, and I know why. It's just it's stunning, and the projection on this is just. I mean, you walk into the room and people are going to smell you, so be careful of that. You know, you don't want to go too heavy. But if you're the type of person that wants to walk into the room and you want people to smell you and go, what is that? This is that fragrance. Santel Royale is that fragrance. There's no other word for it but stunning. So there you go. Last but not least of the fragrances from this line that I own is the newest for me, and the one that is no longer on their website. Although if you see a picture of the whole line, it shows this fragrance, but you cannot buy this on the Guerlain website anymore for whatever reason. And it's Patchouli Ardent. Again, absolutely tremendous job making a fragrance that would be entry level for people who go, man, by the way, I have a few patchouli fragrances. Because I love patchouli always as a base note, for sure. I always love patchouli as a base note. So I do tend to buy some patchouli fragrances. Like I have Tom Ford's patchouli fragrance, the patchouli Absolus, I guess he calls it. And honestly, it was just a little too much. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is patchouli. This is like almost like Grateful Dead sort of patchouli. But they're charging a whole lot of money for it. So that, and I think many people feel that way about patchouli, right? And excuse me, because I know it looks like I'm looking up, which I am looking at my other screen because I am bringing up the notes. It was kind of smart, and this must be why it's so entry level. So the top notes in this are fig, pink pepper, black pepper, which makes sense. It's a little tiny bit spicy. And then the middle notes are Turkish rose, patchouli, cedar. Base notes, leather, and musk. And totally makes sense. Because this patchouli is just so well blended. It's not in your face, but it's there. Like you go, okay, there's patchouli in this, and it's not at the bottom. I knew that because it wasn't far in the base as it dried down. But it wasn't in your face. Like in other words, you're not like, okay, Grateful Dead, right? This is again, an exotic smelling fragrance. I love it, and my wife loved it. She bought this for me on my birthday, actually my 50th birthday. Yes, I'm 50. I know I'm an old man. People my age, maybe we shouldn't even have YouTube channels. I don't know, but so it's she bought it for my 50th birthday because she loved it. She smelled it. She goes, wow, this is really great. And she also likes patchouli on the base usually. She doesn't like super strong patchouli fragrances because it reminds her of like the hippie scene, right? And that's not her thing. And so this is just divine. The blend on this is just out of this world. So again, there you go. That's the whole line is what I have. The Absolus de Orient by Guerlain. And these are all, of course, EDPs. And they all last forever. Every single one of them lasts forever. And I guess I didn't talk about projection on all of them. The projection on all of these is they will fill the room if you overspray. The projection is there. It's there on all of them. I don't know how they did it. They just managed to these fragrances are just performance monsters. All of them in every way. So be careful on the spray. Test it out in your house before you go out and, fill a party with you with your scent. But there you go. All right, I want to thank everybody very much. You guys are awesome, and I apologize it took so long to get this out there. But Chip, this is for you.
John Morel, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. John Morel, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. Fresh and dope like heroin soap. That man's got swag.